Hi, this is Mom. Today we're making soft ginger snaps. For this recipe we're going to use butter, sugar, eggs, molasses, flour, baking soda, and then the spices: cinnamon, ginger, cloves, nutmeg, and salt. Okay, so to start, the first thing we do is cream the butter and the sugar. I have softened the butter, and we need 3 sticks for this recipe, which is 1.5 cups. Now we add 1 cup of sugar. Sugar does not pack down like flour, so you just level it off straight like that. Add it to the bowl and mix them together. So I just realized it's actually 2 cups of sugar, so it's easy to add that now when we don't have any other ingredients in. Another thing is, mix your butter and sugar well so that it kind of gets fluffy. That gets the sugar dissolved into the butter. Okay, so now we add the 2 eggs just right into the mixture. And the 1/2 cup of molasses. So it's a liquid, fairly thick. Alright, so you pour that in, scrape out the container so you don't waste any, and of course this is a really good smelling part because molasses smells delicious. It adds to the wonderful flavor of this cookie. So now we mix that together. Okay, now it's time to add the dry ingredients. We're just going to add all of them at once before we mix again. The first one is 4.5 cups of flour. Then it calls for 1 tablespoon baking soda. Just lay that or sprinkle it right on top of the flour. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay, and then 1 teaspoon of ginger. I love the smells of these spices. Here's the best one, cloves. 1 teaspoon of cloves. Nice fall smells. Also, lots of the spices used in pumpkin pie. Okay, then the 1/2 teaspoon. Whoops, I didn't get it out. There it is. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which, again, as I've said before, I measure less salt than it calls for because this is sea salt. And a 1/2 teaspoon nutmeg. Also, wonderful smell. So there's a lot of dry ingredients right there. I'm going to put the lid on because when you start to mix dry ingredients, it can poof up into the room, and not only does everything get coated with flour, you lose some of your ingredients. So here we go to mix them. Okay, so now it's all mixed together. Nice, light, creamy batter. Basically, we just need to clean off the beaters now so we can put them on the pan. I like to use my fingers because you can get it a lot cleaner that way. Okay, so now the beaters are cleaned off, and we're going to move the bowl over to the area where the pan is. So the recipe says to sprinkle the tops of the cookies with sugar before they're baked. I find that it's easier to take your scooper. This is a 1-inch scoop. Yes, they're small cookies, but when you try them, they're potent with flavor, so a small cookie is fine. So you drop the dough into the sugar. Just roll it around a little bit. You just really knead it on the top, and then stick it on the pan. Alright, so here's the last one to fill our pan. And the oven has been turned on to 350. And we're going to bake them for, let me check my thing here, 10 minutes. Now, so while the first pan's baking, I'm preparing the next pan. These cookies are a soft cookie, very full of flavor, and they freeze very well. So I'm going ahead to bake them all, and I'm going to store the extras in the freezer. I also like to store the current cookies in a jar that doesn't let the air in. Okay, the timer shows about a minute left. It's a good idea to check your cookies before the time is rang so you don't get them too done. Look at that, those are done. They look perfect. So I'm going to get a hot oven mitt here and take them out. As you can see, they're nicely browned. The sugar is cooked on them, and they're touching just a little, but that's okay. It says to let them sit for a minute, and then you can remove them from the pan. So while they were baking, I got the next pan ready, and so I'm going to reduce my heat now to my timer to 9 minutes, because did take them out early. So we're ready for the next pan. Okay, so now they've cooled for a minute. We're removing them from the pan. This particular batch made 117 cookies. Now it's time to taste them. They're delicious with a cup of milk or a cup of hot coffee. Time to take a break.